Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 93. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday, and today we're delving into how I wrote the book Living Life to the Fullest. Now, man, uh, so I'm going to come out and say this. This was one of the easiest books I've written out of all of the books I've written to date. The funny thing is the idea randomly came to me, and I was watching something, and then it dawned on me that I've never written a book about, well, just living your life to the fullest. And the book title took a little bit to think of, honestly, but it came to me when I, pretty much started formulating the characters or whatever the case is. And there were for sure going to be two main characters in this book. I knew that, it was definitely going to be a man and a woman, and it would be about how would I go about writing it. Now, formatting it took a moment to think of because of how I originally was going to write it, but it didn't feel right or sound right, so I scrapped that pretty quickly. But the way it's formatted in the published version is way better, and hopefully you guys, will check it out and read it and things of that nature. But I don't want to give away too much of this book, but by the book title, you guys should pretty much get an idea of what this story is about. Basically, in a nutshell, it's about two people with separate stories, and they find out the day that they're going to die, and they spend the last few weeks of their lives living life to the fullest. Because we tend to take life for granted, and this book is pretty much a reminder to not do that. It's to cherish every moment, spend time with those you love, and don't take people for granted. Now, writing the characters, the notes, the storylines for these two main characters literally took me 30 minutes. Yes, 30 minutes. It sounds crazy, but it's the honest truth. I'm not even sitting here lying to you guys at all about this. I wrote the book in 2 days and formatted it and for publishing literally within a few hours. So basically, this was a book where the ideas came to me so easily, and writing it just flowed. And I was so thankful for that, to be brutally honest. The reason why I say that this book really wasn't on my list of things to write, and, I just didn't really have, an idea of this book, was because I was just so focused on so many social issues and all the things that I was planning, and I had all of these thoughts of, okay, like this book's a little different, it's going to be in a different direction, and what's going to be the feeling of this book and all that stuff. But what I will say is that the feeling of this book will have you on an emotional roller coaster, but you'll be kind of floating in a way. Like, you'll feel these characters, you'll relate to them in some ways, and somewhere along the lines you'll hope the story ends good. But let's just say you'll be thankful for life a little bit more by the end of the book. Well, hopefully. You guys will pretty much determine that, and you guys will dictate that. Um, Timothy and Rachel, these are, pretty much like fictional characters, but they're average people, just like you and I, who, pretty much are living life, and, everyone goes through their trials and tribulations in life. And, this book is more of to say, what would you do if you literally found out the day you were going to die? Like, what if you like had a dream and you got a message saying like you're gonna die in like a few weeks? Like, how would you even live your life? You know what I mean? Like, some of you guys, you're gonna what? You guys gonna go on vacations? Are you gonna spend as much time with your best friends, your family, all that stuff? Would you even tell your family and your friends, that you were told you're gonna die? You know what I mean? So that's really what the basis of this book is. It's what would you do if you found out, like, your life is coming to an end pretty soon. I think what happens in our lives is we continually think we have tomorrow, but we really aren't. We really aren't guaranteed tomorrow. We aren't guaranteed the next day. We're not. And I think really, like, a few years ago, some things happened within my family to where I had to really shift my focus and say, okay, I've really got to live my life to the fullest. So there are just certain things I do every day. I try to smile, I try to be happy, and I try to make people laugh, and I try to be in good spirits as much as I can. Are there bad days? Are there crappy days? Yes, I will admit that. And, you know, when you live alone and, you're by yourself the majority of the time, things are a little bit different. You get consumed in your mind and in your thoughts. But anyway, I want this book to be a focus on, how important life is, how precious life is, how fast life really moves. If you guys don't know by now, like, life is moving very, very fast. The days are really just really moving and flying by. And, it's like 1 minute I was 25, and the next thing you know, I'm in my late 30s, and now I'm like, okay, wow, like, where did the time go? And, it's the truth. If a lot of people are saying it, then there's truth to it. And I want you guys to understand that this was a book that, I knew it needed to be written, and I knew that I wanted to just create a nice feel for the book cover, and, I wanted to just, write two good stories. I don't want to overwrite it. I don't want to have a bunch of characters. I think two characters sufficed enough. Two grown adults who have two different life paths, who are living, certain situations, and, I just wanted to put it out there. And there's some good moments, there's some sad moments, and, you guys will find out if you guys, choose to go down that road and, look into the book and read the ebook or the paperback or whatever the case is. I don't know if I'm doing an audiobook, but if I do, obviously I'll put it on my website. I'll announce it on my website. But for now, it's just an ebook and paperback, and they're pretty much in all major places except Amazon. If you guys don't know by now, my books are not on Amazon anymore. And that will be a story that I will share later on down the road. So, with that said, this was pretty much a shorter podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.